Good morning, Hampton Roads. What a treat to be back in my old home where I raised all my 5 kids here in Virginia Beach. And I just want to say, it is such a treat to be governor of the most business-friendly state in America, the Commonwealth of Virginia. To all you Virginians, I want to say thanks for having us here today. You know, this is the mother of presidents, the birthplace of democracy. We're just 405 years ago, a couple miles away from here, the greatest country on earth, we've given birth at Cape Henry, the United States of America. And what a treat to be in Hampton Roads, the home of more veterans than just about any place in the world. The home of the greatest Navy base in the world. All of you that are veterans, raise your hands so we can give you a round of applause and say thank you for what you've done. Because you understand, like the people that served on that ship for so many years, and you understand, like Mitt Romney, freedom isn't free. It takes the blood and sweat and the tears of American men and women in uniform to keep us a free and great nation. Well, I just want to say it's a treat to be here with a guy that I think was the greatest reform governor of the modern era, who's going to be your next great United States Senator, George Allen. And for you men and women in uniform, or you veterans, you have no better friend in the United States Congress than our great friend Randy Forbes and Scott Ridgell. Please help them get reelected. And it's also a treat to be with my right-hand guy, our great Lieutenant Governor, our Chief Jobs Creation Officer, Lieutenant Governor Bill Bolling. You know, he's done a great job creating jobs in Virginia, but boy, we got some headwinds in Washington. Won't it be easier creating jobs in Virginia if we've got a President Mitt Romney? Well, I'm delighted to be here with my wife, the First Lady, and my sons, my daughters. How about that veteran, Janine McDonald, singing the national anthem? She do okay? Well, I am so delighted to have our next president here today. You know, his opponent has been here a little bit. It seems like every time he comes here, he makes a little news. He was here last week, and he said, and I want you to help me with this, he was here last week, and he said, if I don't win Virginia, I won't be president again. I want you to help him keep that promise. But you know, a couple months ago he came to Roanoke, Virginia, and he said something I still can't believe. I'm still looking at that transcript to see if it was right. He said, if you are successful in a business, you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that shows why we need a new president, because that statement tells you everything you need to know. This is a president who does not understand the American free enterprise system and the great American dream, and we need a change. Now, let's suppose that you were interviewing for a job, or you're interviewing to get rehired, or your contract extended. That's what the president's asking us to do. And you go in and you got your resume and you're trying to tell the boss, the American people, or the 8.2 million people of Virginia, that you want to get rehired. Well, let's look at this resume of the president. Well, he says, how about jobs? You know, we've had an 8% unemployment rate now for 42 months, and we've got the lowest number of entrepreneurs starting new businesses in over 30 years. Not so good, Mr. President. When it comes to energy, his record is making it harder for our great coal industry to have new permits, making it harder for our people in the great new natural gas industry to engage in fracking, making it harder to dispose of nuclear materials so we can't build new nuclear power plants, refusing to allow Virginians to use their God-given natural resources off the coast of Virginia to drill for oil and natural gas. When it comes to the debt, let's look at that record. The largest increase in the American national debt in the history of our country, $5.2 trillion. All you young people here, you're paying that bill. That's the record. And no plan to get out of it, only a budget that gets us to $25 trillion in debt by the year 2021. So I'd say if you walk into an employer and you got that kind of resume, there's only two words that come to mind. You're fired. But thank God we've got a great choice this election. And this election is about really one thing, and that is which candidates got the vision and the ideas to get the greatest country on earth out of debt and back to work. You know, on the one hand, we've got this Obama vision of more entitlements and more guarantees and more taxes and more government is the way to prosperity. And Mr. President, with all due respect, that's failed America now for the last 3.5 years. But then we've got the GOP, the Great Opportunity Party and its vision and its candidate. We've got that incredible Reagan-Romney enthusiastic vision that recognizes the American dream, that if you work hard and you dream big and you pursue opportunity and use your God-given talents, you can still be anything you want to be in this great land of freedom, America. 100 years ago, poor farm boy from Mayo County, Ireland, left on a ship and landed in Boston, Massachusetts. That was my grandfather. He worked as a laborer in a glue factory and as a tanner. He never thought that 100 years later that his grandson would end up with the same job of Patrick Henry and Thomas Jefferson, being governor of Virginia. But that's the United States of America, the land of dreams and opportunity. So being an average middle-class kid from Fairfax County, I'm incredibly thrilled to be governor of Virginia, and that's the heart and soul of this campaign for Mitt Romney, is doing things and putting policies in place that support and expand and offer hope and opportunity for our middle-class families in America. Governor Romney's put forth a visionary 5-point plan to be able to get people back to work, promoting entrepreneurship and small business because you did build it. And if you do, you'll provide jobs and opportunity for other people. To get our great country out of debt by balancing a budget within the next 8 years, and he's going to have somebody to help him do that. To be able to get people trained in the skills and the workforce in math and science and the other disciplines that are necessary to create the workforce of the future. To be able to have a sustainable energy future. This president's got no plan. Governor Romney's got an all-of-the-above comprehensive plan to use all of our red, white, and blue God-given natural resources to promote American energy independence. That's going to help the middle class create jobs and opportunity for a long time. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know the issues and you know the ideas of Mitt Romney. But I want to say above all those policy issues, what really matters is heart and character and vision and passion. The scriptures say, for lack of vision, the people perish, but just the opposite is true. With vision, the people prosper. One of the loneliest places anywhere you can find is the inside of that Oval Office. When the cabinet members leave and the advisors are gone, the President of the United States got to have faith and know what they believe and make the right decisions for the people of the United States. That's what you get with Mitt Romney. He's a man of faith, a man of principle, a man who's been successful as governor, successful in the private sector, successful running the Olympics. He's a great family man, 5 kids, 18 grandkids. He's been incredibly generous to people all over the country and all over the world. He's got an amazing passion and vision for the country. He's got a deep and abiding love for America, what it stands for, and the great American dream. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the next President of the United States, Governor Mitt Romney.
Yes. Thank you so much. What a great governor you have. What a terrific man and a terrific leader. Way to go. Thank you so very much. It's great to be back in Virginia and here in Norfolk. Your city's beauty is matched only by its proud heritage as a defender of freedom. Thank you, Virginia. Thank you, Norfolk. Today we take another step forward in helping restore the promise of America. As we move forward in this campaign and on to help lead the nation to better days, it's an honor to announce my running mate and the next Vice President of the United States, Paul Ryan. His leadership begins with character and values. Paul is a man of tremendous character, shaped in large part by his early life. Paul's father died when he was in high school. That forced him to grow up earlier than any young man should. But Paul did, with the help of his devoted mother, his brothers and sister, and a supportive community. And as he did, he internalized the virtues and hard-working ethic of the Midwest. Paul Ryan works in Washington, but his beliefs remain firmly rooted in Janesville, Wisconsin. He's a person of great steadiness, whose integrity is unquestioned and whose word is good. Paul's upbringing is obvious in how he's conducted himself throughout his life, including his leadership in Washington. In a city that's far too often characterized by pettiness and personal attacks, Paul Ryan is a shining exception. He doesn't demonize his opponents. He understands that honorable people can have honest differences. And he appeals to the better angels of our nature. There are a lot of people in the other party who might disagree with Paul Ryan. I don't know of anyone who doesn't respect his character and judgment. Paul is in public life for all the right reasons, not to advance his personal ambition, but to advance the ideals of freedom and justice, and to increase opportunity and prosperity to people of every class and faith, every age and ethnic background. A faithful Catholic, Paul believes in the worth and dignity of every human life. With energy and vision, Paul Ryan has become an intellectual leader of the Republican Party. He understands the fiscal challenges facing America, our exploding deficits and crushing debt, and the fiscal catastrophe that awaits us if we don't change course. He combines a profound sense of responsibility for what we owe the next generation with an unbounded optimism in America's future and an understanding of all the wonderful things the American people can do. Paul also combines firm principles with a practical concern for getting things done. He's never been content to simply curse the darkness. He'd rather light candles. And throughout his legislative career, he's shown the ability to work with members of both parties to find common ground on some of the hardest issues confronting the American people. So Paul and I are beginning on a journey that will take us to every corner of America. We're offering a positive, governing agenda that will lead to economic growth, to widespread and shared prosperity, and that will improve the lives of our fellow citizens. Our plan to strengthen the middle class will get America back to work and get our country back on track. We offer solutions that are bold, specific, and achievable. we offer our commitment to help create 12 million new jobs and to bring better take-home pay to middle-class families. To strengthen the middle class, we'll provide our workers and our children with the skills to succeed. We'll cut the deficit, have trade that works for America, and champion small business. And finally, we'll unleash our energy resources to achieve North American energy independence. We will help care for those who can't care for themselves, and we will return work to welfare. As poverty has risen to historic and tragic levels, with nearly 1 out of 6 Americans now having fallen into poverty, we will act to bring these families into the middle class. Unlike the current president who's cut Medicare funding by $700 billion, we will preserve and protect Medicare and Social Security and keep them there for future generations. And under the current president, health care has only become more expensive. We're going to reform health care so that more Americans have access to affordable health care, and we'll get that started by repealing and replacing Obamacare. At a time when the president's campaign is taking American politics to new lows, we're going to do something very differently. We're going to talk about aspirations and American ideals, about bringing people together to solve the urgent problems facing our nation. And when that message wins in America, it'll be a victory for every American. Today's a good day for America, and there are better days ahead. Join me. Join me in welcoming the next President of the United States, Paul Ryan.
Wow. Hey. And right in front of the USS Wisconsin, huh? Man.
Every now and then I'm known to make a mistake. I did not make a mistake with this guy. But I can tell you this, he's going to be the next Vice President of the United States.
Governor Romney, Ann, thank you. I am deeply honored and excited to join you as your running mate. I want to tell you about Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney is a leader with the skills, the background, and the character that our country needs at this crucial time in its history. Following 4 years of failed leadership, the hopes of our country, which have inspired the world, are growing dim. They need someone to revive them. Governor Romney is the man for this moment. And he and I share one commitment. We will restore the greatness of this country. I want you to meet my family. It's my wife, Jana, our daughter, Liza, and our sons, Charlie and Sam. I'm surrounded by the people I love. I love you too. And I've been asked by Governor Romney to serve the country that I love. Janesville, Wisconsin is where I was born and raised, and I never really left it. It's our home now. For the last 14 years, I have proudly represented Wisconsin in Congress. There I have focused on solving the problems that confront our country, turning ideas into action and action into solutions. I am committed in heart and mind to putting that experience to work in a Romney administration. This is a crucial moment in the life of our nation, and it is absolutely vital that we select the right man to lead America back to prosperity and greatness. That man is standing right next to me. His name is Mitt Romney, and he will be the next President of the United States of America. My dad died when I was young. He was a good and decent man. There are a few things he would say that have just always stuck with me. He'd say, "Son, you're either part of the problem or part of the solution." Well, regrettably, President Obama has become part of the problem, and Mitt Romney is the solution. The other thing my dad would always say is that every generation of Americans leaves their children better off. That's the American legacy. Sadly, for the first time in our history, we are on a path which will undo that legacy. That is why we need new leadership to become part of the solution. New leadership to restore prosperity, economic growth, and jobs. It is our duty to save the American dream for our children and theirs. I believe there is no person in America who is better prepared because of his experience, because of the principles he holds, and because of his achievements and excellence in so many different arenas to lead America at this point in our history. Let me say a word about the man Mitt Romney is about to replace. Look, no one disputes that President Obama inherited a difficult situation. And in his first 2 years, with his party in complete control of Washington, he passed nearly every item on his agenda. But that didn't make things better. In fact, we find ourselves in a nation facing debt, doubt, and despair. This is the worst economic recovery in 70 years. Unemployment has been above 8% for more than 3 years, the longest run since the Great Depression. Families are hurting. We have the largest deficits and the biggest federal government since World War II. Nearly 1 out of 6 Americans are in poverty, the worst rate in a generation. Moms and dads are struggling to make ends meet. Household incomes have dropped more than $4,000 over the past 4 years. Whatever the explanations, whatever the excuses, this is a record of failure. President Obama and too many like him in Washington have refused to make difficult decisions because they are more worried about their next election than they are about the next generation. We might have been able to get away with that before, but not now. We're in a different and dangerous moment. We're running out of time, and we can't afford 4 more years of this. Politicians from both parties have made empty promises, which will soon become broken promises with painful consequences if we fail to act now. I represent a part of America that includes inner cities, rural areas, suburbs, and factory towns. Over the years, I have seen and heard from a lot of families, from a lot of those who are running small businesses, and from people who are in need. But what I've heard lately, that's what troubles me the most. There's something different in their voice, in their words. What I hear from them are diminished dreams, lowered expectations, uncertain futures. I hear some people say that this is just the new normal. Higher unemployment, declining incomes, and crushing debt is not a new normal. It is the result of misguided policies. And next January, our economy will begin a comeback with the Romney Plan for a stronger middle class that will lead to more jobs and more take-home pay for working Americans. America's on the wrong track. But Mitt Romney and I will take the right steps in the right time to get us back on the right track. I believe that my record of getting things done in Congress will be a very helpful complement to Governor Romney's executive and private sector success outside of Washington. I've worked closely with Republicans as well as Democrats to advance an agenda of economic growth, fiscal discipline, and job creation. I'm proud to stand with a man who understands what it takes to foster job creation in our economy. Someone who knows from experience that if you have a small business, you did build that. Right. At Bain Capital, he launched new businesses, and he turned around failing ones Companies like Staples, Bright Horizons, Sports Authority, just to name a few. Mitt Romney created jobs, and he showed he knows how a free economy works. At the Olympics, he took a failing enterprise and made it the pride of our entire nation. That's something. As governor of Massachusetts, he worked with Democrats and Republicans to balance budget without increasing taxes, lower unemployment, increase income, and improve people's lives. In all these things, Mitt Romney has shown himself to be a man of achievement, excellence, and integrity. Jana and I tell Liza, Charlie, and Sam that America is a place where if you work hard and play by the rules, you can get ahead. We look at one another's success with pride, not resentment, because we know that as more Americans work hard, take risks, succeed, more people will prosper. Our communities will benefit, and individual lives will be uplifted and improved. America is more than just a place, though. America is an idea. It's the only country founded on an idea. Our rights come from nature and God, not from government. That's right. That's who we are. That's how we built this country. That's who we are. That's what made us great. That's our founding. We promise equal opportunity, not equal outcomes. And this idea was founded on the principles of liberty, freedom, free enterprise, self-determination, and government by consent of the governed. This idea is under assault. So we have a critical decision to make as a nation. We are on an unsustainable path that is robbing America of our freedom and security. It doesn't have to be this way. The commitment Mitt Romney and I make to you is this: we won't duck the tough issues, we will lead. We won't blame others, we will take responsibility. And we won't replace our founding principles, we will reapply them. That's what we will do. We will honor you, our fellow citizens, by giving you the right and opportunity to make the choice. What kind of country do we want to have? What kind of people do we want to be? We can turn this thing around. We can. We can turn this thing around. Real solutions can be delivered, but it will take leadership and the courage to tell you the truth. Mitt Romney is this kind of leader. I'm excited for what lies ahead. I'm thrilled to be a part of America's comeback team, and together, we will unite America and get this done. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks.